Aloha, and this is Geralyn St. Joseph, and this is part 2 of depression, oppression, and suppression, beating it. So, how do we go about taking care of ourselves and getting out of the rut, regardless of what the cause is? And these three things all lead to depression and feelings of hopelessness, but all three of them have different causes. Same outcome, but different causes. So, regardless of what the cause is, you need to get yourself physically out of that space. Because whether you are being oppressed, you are suppressing yourself, or you are suffering from depression, your body begins to get used to feeling that way. So, that is a comfort zone. And I understand that it's painful and that it's awful. At the same time, your body physically becomes accustomed to that being the norm. So then when you're not feeling that way, you need to get used to feeling better, having a higher vibration. Also, when you're in overwhelm like that, it's very difficult to do anything, to pick yourself up and do just about anything when it gets really severe. So the first things you need to do need to be very simple, almost things that you could do on autopilot. And then progressively you work up to things that take more energy and take more from you, or more effort on your part. So the first things you want to do are simple things like watching funny movies, listening to upbeat music. Eventually you'll start dancing and moving, being in sunlight, taking vitamin D, listening to meditations, especially as you fall asleep, to listen to a white light meditation or hypnosis, where it's very positive and telling you that you're going to rest very well and you will wake up refreshed and ready for your day. Things like that that work into your subconscious are very helpful. So, that being said, and I covered a lot of that in the last video, let's move on to other things you can do that are more active. Things like finding your tribe. Now, when we talk about finding our tribe, a lot of people think of the tribe as being several people, 10 people, 20 people. Your tribe isn't necessarily a lot of people. Your tribe could be one other person. And when you start off, your tribe can be your dog, can be your fish. It can be anything that allows you to love and freely be who you are. So when you're finding your tribe, don't put so many parameters and walls around it that you make it insurmountable. You want to look for a space, a place, and a person that you feel comfortable with. It might be animals in the beginning. It might always be animals. And that's okay. You need to figure out what works for you. So finding your tribe is very important so that you have a sense of belonging and a sense of connection. That can also come through meditation. It can come through going to meet up and joining different groups. Find out what you're a nerd about. Figure out what it is that you do well. If you don't know, ask people who know you or who have known you for a long time. You may have skills that you completely forgot about. Stuff you did as a kid. I have a friend who is very creative. I mean, she creates really beautiful things. And she always had the best stuff when we were in grade school, and she had no idea that she had this gift until we were older and discussing things, and it was mentioned to her about how beautiful her projects always came out, and that we always thought her mom did them, and then to find out that her mom didn't, and they're such high quality and beautiful that in grade school we thought an adult had to have done them. So to know that you have gifts, everyone has gifts. It might be something quirky and unusual, and that's okay. You just need to figure out what is you. It doesn't matter what anybody else thinks of it. It doesn't matter what anyone else does or says. Life is not a competition. The sooner we all realize that we're all in this together and it's not a competition, the better off the world will be. Trust me. So, when we get into these ruts, when we get into these holes, one of the things that happens is we start reflecting to ourselves what it is we hear or what it is we feel about ourselves. So in depression, it could be something that was said to us a long time ago that we haven't let go of. It could be something that we just say to ourselves, I'm so stupid, I'm so ugly, I'm so fat, I don't understand this. All these things are not good for you to be saying to yourself. In oppression, it is told to us either because of our sex or our financial status or what we do for a job. It's pressure from the outside. It can also come from a demonic, which is a spiritual being or a thought form that's on top of us and telling us these negative things. And they whisper in your ear every little mistake you make, or even when you don't make a mistake, discouraging you, telling you not to move, and making you freeze in place. It gives you a sense of overwhelm. The third thing is suppression, and we do this to ourselves. We convince ourselves that we can't do it, or it's not right, or we shouldn't do that because so-and-so might not like it. And what we end up doing is we tax our integrity. Your integrity is everything. It is your truth. It is who you are. And when we deny that and we live for others instead of doing what we need to do for ourselves to be fully who we are, standing up for the kid in the subway who's getting beat up, speaking out against injustice when we see it, correcting people who are close to us who we love when they're saying hurtful things or when things bother us. Not to be a whiner and every little thing make it about you. However, to be aware when something triggers you and to make the people around you who love you aware of those things so that they don't trigger you. Because as long as they don't know, as long as it's not addressed, it's not going to stop. Once it is addressed, if then the person persists, then that's something you need to consider. That is deliberate. Excuse me. So when you get these negative thoughts, when you start feeling like you can't, and you start hearing that in your head, you need to answer, yes, I can. Answer strongly, firmly, and positively. Be positive. Turn it around. Whatever is being said to you, turn it around. Whatever you're hearing in your head, turn it around. I'm not smart enough. Yes, I am. I don't deserve that. Yes, I do. Eventually, it will become second nature for you to do this. So that will be helpful as time goes on. You want to make it a habit. We've made it a habit really being mean to ourselves. Make it a habit really being good to yourself. Another thing you can do that I understand is very, very hard is when you're going through this and you feel something is just off or it's just not right. Ask for help. Figure out who is around you, who has been consistent. If no one's been consistent, then find someone new, someone who's trustworthy, who has shown integrity in their life. Find a professional. Ask for help. It's very important. Figure out what's wrong, or to help you figure out what's wrong. Asking for help is key. It's a big, big first step. If you have good friends, they could be the ones who find the right meditation for you. They could be the ones who find the music for you. Or maybe when you're hanging out with them and you're around, they'll make sure that they don't play music that is hostile and aggressive. They'll play things that make you feel better instead of things that make you feel worse, and so on and so forth. They will support you in your healing and your empowerment. Another thing that we don't often think about when we're not feeling good is to offer help to others. Give other people help. What pulls you out of the gutter quicker than anything else? Seeing someone going through something, either similar or not, and offering help. When we help others and we reach out a hand, even if we're just listening to someone else, it makes us feel better. It raises our vibration and theirs, hopefully. That does not include energy vampires, and we'll talk about that at a different time. But for the most part, if you're helping someone, volunteer. Figure out what you're good at and offer it. Utilize your gifts. Everyone has them, regardless of how you're feeling. And I understand that a lot of this stuff will come after you've started to work your way up. And there will be times when you backslide and you just lose it and don't feel like, you feel like crawling under a rock and not doing much more. And that's okay. You just have to make sure that you do not stay there for too long a period of time. So, I'm just looking at my notes, making sure I covered everything, and I believe I did. So watch video 1, this is video 2, and this is Geralyn St. Joseph on depression, oppression, and suppression. I am here to help. My website is GeralynStJoseph.com, and if you enjoy this free content, then please support me at Patreon /Voice of Spirit. Mahalo.